Amy Tan is a New York Times bestseller who has sold over 5 million books worldwide. Her first and most popular novel, The Joy Luck Club, has been translated in over 30 languages and was adapted into a film. Her other best-selling books include The Bonesetter's Daughter, The Kitchen God's Wife, and Saving Fish from Drowning. Amy's latest novel, The Valley of Amazement, takes us on a journey from China to U.S. and follows the lives of courtesans in Shanghai. Novelist Amy Tan tells us more.
To welcome Amy.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Now, first tell me, I know this novel started because you were working on another novel and also because of a picture that you saw and the relationship with that and your grandmother. Tell me a little bit more.
Well, I was working on that different book, as you said, and I was doing research on Shanghai. I opened a book on Shanghai and saw a photo of 10 women called The 10 Beauties of Shanghai, 1911. And 5 of them were wearing clothes identical to what my grandmother is wearing in my favorite photo of her that sits on my desk. It serves as my inspiration as I write. And I was thinking, what is going on? Was this just a popular outfit in 1911? And that became a quest to find out what the possibilities were that she might have been a courtesan and what that meant in terms of our family.
Did you ever find out if she was a courtesan, or did you just stop from there and then decide, I'm going to write a book?
I will never know the answer unless I found records that said that she had been, but there was a lot of evidence. For one thing, all the clothing details I was told was specific to courtesans. The headband that formed a V with the pearls, the collar that goes right up to the bottom of the ear, the tight clothes, the shorter sleeves with white lining, and especially the photo studio. Only courtesans went to those kind of photo studios. And there were several pictures of her.
Now, for those that don't know, what is a courtesan?
Courtesan is similar to a geisha, I would say. They live in a house, first-class courtesan or second-class courtesan houses. They, in those days, were courted by men. There might be 5, 6 suitors, and the men would gather with their friends. It was more like the Playboy Club. And eventually, the courtesan would choose a man who would receive more of her favors. A lot of men complained they were fleeced because they had given more money, but the courtesan chose the cuter one. And so they were part of the sex trade, but at a higher level. The sex trade went from that to all the way to little girls who were kidnapped, and so it was a prevalent problem in Shanghai.
Now, let's talk about the Valley of Amazement. The main character, Violet, is half American and half Chinese. Was there a reason that you decided to make her biracial?
There were a number of reasons. One is that I think of myself as being bicultural, and throughout the years when I was growing up, I had some conflicts knowing that I was Chinese. I also wanted to show a kind of dichotomy that existed in the international settlement of Shanghai, which was like its own country, in which Westerners really looked down on Chinese people. And I wanted to show an extreme of situations between a character who is suddenly the privileged American and becomes someone else and has to reinvent herself.
Because in the beginning of the book, she doesn't really consider her, she says, I know who I am, I'm American. Yeah. And then later on, like, no. And exactly. She has all these struggles, yes. And not just between her relationship between her mother and her, but finding her own identity.
Yes. The book, to me, is really about self-identity, how you see yourself compared to how others see you. And you could go through vast changes, as Violet did, going from being an American to becoming Chinese, which is a huge one during that time. But we all go through changes, whether we get married, go to school, drop out of school, whether our finances go up and down, and we have changes, and it might change how we see ourselves.
And for people, what do you want them to take from your book?
Well, the main thing is that they enjoy it and feel that it was worth spending the time and the money. But I never know exactly what people are going to have as a reaction. I hope that they might connect with the idea, the questions about who are we, how to become the way we are, and who are our influences.
And you have a showing at UCLA. Tell me a little bit more.
I'm being interviewed by Pat Morrison, formerly with the LA Times, and a Pulitzer Prize winner. I'm going to be at the Freud Playhouse.
Well, looking forward to that. For more information on you, we can visit your website.
amytan.net.
Thank you so much, Amy. A pleasure talking to you.